Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
Hey, Freaky friends! It's Michelle and Melissa from the Freaky Fridays podcast. We are sisters in separate states and love to talk about all kinds of spooky, freaky, and scary shit while drinking and laughing through our fear.
Join us Fridays as we delve into everything from the world of the paranormal to scary movies to creepy stuff we find around the internet. Subscribe to Freaky Fridays wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Sleep tight.
Make sure you leave the lights on.
Freaky Fridays is a proud member of the Podmoth Network. For more awesome pods, check out podmoth.network.
Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Kathryn.
And I'm Hayley.
And we are Saturdays Before the Ghouls,
a Podmoth podcast.
How are you doing, Hayley?
Doing all right, Kathryn. How are you?
I'm okay. Just, living the dream. So, what week is it again?
I thought you knew. Isn't it your week?
Damn. I guess we don't have a topic today.
Well,
it's been great fun. See you in your
dreams. Nightmares. Oh.
She literally forgot her only line. We have 3 lines we always say every episode without fail.
I'm hungry.
It's our intro and our outro. So, real talk though, what are we doing today?
I believe we're doing some kind of movie. It's kind of
movies.
Spooky.
It's a spooky movie?
It's a spooky movie, yes.
Spooky? What's the movie? Spooky Babes, you already know if you listen to last week's podcast. But Hayley, why don't you tell them if they are new to the pod?
Well, also it does say in the title, but...
Oh, yeah. If they're new to the pod and they can't read.
We are going to be talking about Smile.
Before we hop into the movie, though, I just wanted to give you a quick trigger warning for self-harm, suicide, mental illness, trauma. If that's something that you're not in the headspace to talk about or to chat about with us, we completely understand. There's 101 other episodes to listen to if you're interested, and we will not have hurt feelings if you cannot hang out with us and talk about that in this movie. Protect your headspace.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay. Listen here. So, me and Kathryn do little funsy things for our own enjoyment. We record this over Zoom, right? So we usually do fun little names. Like our names right now will not make sense right now unless you've seen the movie or you listen to the podcast. So my name this week is Justice for Mustache. Kathryn, also on the same wavelength here, put R.I.P. Mustache. It's true. Anyway, Kathryn and her technical ass, as soon as I joined the Zoom, her background is just a screenshot from the movie Smile of the girl just smiling. And
no
Kathryn. And I was just like, hello?
I was recording and trying not to giggle.
And she was like, all you did was laugh. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
I wanted her to get spooked because this movie spooks you.
Yeah, it does scare me. This movie did traumatize me. So we watched the movie yesterday. It was Kathryn's first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite ironic that I say traumatized because that's what this feeds on anyway. But I went to go see it for the first time when it came out last year. And this movie legit made me so paranoid, low key, because all of a sudden, I'm going to tell this. So when we lived at the old house, right? Me and my boyfriend, we went to the movies, and then the next day we were driving down our neighborhood, which we've lived there for about a year at this point. And I've never noticed this flag, but this neighbor on the same street, they had the American flag on their flagpole. And then they had this bright ass yellow flag that had a smiley face on it. And I was like, I'm done. I moved. And that's why I moved. I'm just kidding. That's not why I moved. That shit scared me, bro.
Yeah.
Like I just started seeing smiles everywhere, and I was like, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this.
I could understand that. But I have a goldfish brain, and I have not thought of the movie once since I watched it.
Lucky.
To be fair, I overconsume media. I don't let myself think too long. I just move on to the next book, movie, or TV show. And that's on trauma.
I'm just an overreacting, dramatic bitch. I know.
No, you're not. You're not. It was scary. I'm not saying it wasn't scary. I'm just saying first of all, I wasn't able to like watch it and like focus solely on the movie, right? Because I was in the middle of something while we watched it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because that was the time we had that we could watch it. So I wasn't able to immerse myself into the movie as if you would in a movie theater or as if you would at home alone by yourself in your house, whatever. So
True.
I think that that's another reason why I wasn't as affected by the movie is that I wasn't able to like immerse myself so much so.
That's fair.
But it was shocking and like creepy. I agree. I'm not saying you're overly dramatic. It's just I don't think I was in the position to be spooked.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, anyway. So Smile came out September 30th in 2022. It was directed by Parker Finn, and this is his first actual like full-length movie. So he has done 2 other like significant things that I've seen. He's done 2 shorts, like horror shorts.
Okay, what are they?
One is called The Hide Behind.
I think I've seen that.
Which it sounds very familiar, and I don't know if I think we did it for an urban legend.
Yes,
I think you did. Yeah.
Oh, it was with I think with Janine from the Identity Pod.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
When I was doing the night crawlers, and then I think I did the Hide Behind and something else.
Yeah. I believe it's on Amazon Prime, which I kind of wanted to watch both of them at some point, but yeah, he did a short about the Hide Behind, which is, just it's an urban legend about this being that basically you think you see it in the woods, but then it just like hides behind a tree kind of thing. It's a folklore. And I saw like screenshots from the short and it looks creepy as fuck.
The Hide Behind is creepy as fuck, so I'd imagine the movie would be too.
I don't remember it being creepy.
I think it was.
Oh,
but it goes along, I feel like, with the saying, if you see something in the trees, no, you didn't.
That makes sense.
Like if you looked into the forest. Yeah, if you looked into the forest and you saw something, no, you didn't, because it's just trying to lure you into the forest. I don't know. That's what I remember from it. It was too long ago to remember any of the other details.
And then his second short that he did is called Laura Hasn't Slept.
And now, do you think that this is the same Laura from the movie?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Kathryn, because yes, it is the same Laura.
Okay. Yes. So is it like her prequel to the movie?
No.
Something else? Oh, is it her trauma? Is it part of the movie at all? Or is it just the character? Sorry. I was just trying to guess.
Okay. So he came out with Laura Hasn't Slept, and it's a short where we follow Laura and she can't sleep and she's like visiting her psychiatrist, and basically like she keeps having all these nightmares that she doesn't know where they stem from, blah blah blah. It is the short that inspired the movie.
Okay.
It's not the same premise, but it is kind of like it inspired the movie.
Yeah. That's cool. And so he directed it or just wrote it, or both?
Both.
Cool.
He's literally like the only guy on this. Directed, wrote it. Like he didn't do like the cinematography or anything, but the list of like people that helped out is very small.
I think it was made during COVID though. That's probably why.
It was, but it was also one of my fun facts.
Oh, already.
One of them, because there's a lot. Smile was originally supposed to be just a Paramount Plus exclusive. they had a small budget. So this is technically considered a low budget film, even though I don't think it is. But they did a lot of like test screenings and whatnot, and they got a lot of positive reviews. So Paramount, who owned the distribution rights to this movie, decided to give it a full theatrical release because they had so much like positive feedback from it.
Okay.
Which I'm glad they did. Because seeing it in theaters is probably why it is so scary at the time. But
they had a really good PR team for the movie, because there was lots of different ads for it that you'd see smiles and like it, I mean, you would see just like you drive by a billboard of just someone smiling and you're like, that's the Smile movie. And it's just like the same creepy smile that everyone else had in the movie.
Another fun fact. They would literally on purpose, they would hire people to go to sports games. And they would seat them behind like right where the pitcher is, so the camera would be like there most of the time, and they would have like the movie on their shirt and everything, and they would just be like dead-eyed smiling at the camera. And it became like a whole thing where people were like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, they definitely did a lot promoting this movie. They spent approximately $50 million on it, promoting it, which is more. That's more than the budget.
Yeah.
And speaking of, how much do you think the budget was, Kathryn?
Oh, we're already at budget. Okay, so you said it's under 50 million, unless here's the trick question: is the 50 million included in the budget?
No.
Okay, so it's under 50 million, and 50 million is not included in the budget. Okay, so I would say 1 million.
It's more.
Way more. 1.7 million.
I would consider this way more, yes. If you're going to go straight to just 1.7. Oh my God. Just move the decimal.
17?
Yeah.
$17 million? That's the highest low budget film we've ever done.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, how is this low budget?
That's crazy.
Well, how much do you think it made? Or it's a dumb question, but do you think it made its money back, Kathryn?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. You are correct.
I think it made much more than its money back.
Yes, it did.
Okay. So I think that it made
the thought process for me.
$80 million?
More.
Am I way? Oh, it's more? Okay.
$120 million?
More.
500 million. 150? Down more. 240? Just tell me.
Hold on. They made $217.4 million.
217? Damn.
So.
Damn.
Yeah, they definitely eaten tonight.
At least back last year.
Yeah, true. Well, we've talked a little bit about the movie, like where it came from, who made this monstrosity. That'll make more sense later. Kathryn, give me your goldfish brain synopsis.
Okay, I don't remember anyone's name. Let's just remember that first and foremost.
I have their names if you need it.
I don't need them. I don't care.
Okay.
The only reason I remember Laura is that Hayley recently told me that Laura was the name of the girl. So that's the only reason I remember that. Okay.
And that's your sister's name.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Anyway. So this brain doctor, that is the wrong term for it. Psychiatrist. The psychiatrist is working at this hospital, and she is working at one of those low budget, low brow hospitals as a psychiatrist, because she just wants to help people, right? Keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. She helps crazy people, admits them in for their grippy sock vacation because they have lost it. So she meets Laura, and Laura is in desperate need of a grippy sock vacation because she's seeing shit and she is hearing things, and she's just like going cuckoo bananas for Cocoa Puffs, right? So during her intake for her grippy sock vacation, which, let's be real here, she never actually got to take, he sees whatever she's seeing, and she the doctor lady, we're going to call her, let's see if I can remember, Julie. We're going to call her Julie. And I know that's wrong. But for some reason, it's the only name I could think of. Actually, I just have gotten it in. This year in, it's Rose, which is my middle name. So I should definitely have remembered that. Who Julie, the doctor, she calls she calls for an emergency because this bitch is freaking the fuck out. And she is like being coked out by some like not their thing, right? We're only in the first 30 minutes still. I'm sorry, I got choked up at this part. And he turns around and Laura's like smiling, just standing there smiling. He's like, Laura, are you okay? And then Laura just unalives herself right there and then, right there in front of Rose. Julie. And anywho, very reasonably, Julie starts to struggle because she just saw someone unalive themselves straight in front of her. And the rest of the movie is just her going the same Cocoa Bananas route that Miss Laura went. And then she traumatizes her nephew. She basically breaks up with her fiance because he's also calling her Cocoa Bananas. And she goes to her ex-boyfriend, who's a police officer. They do a little bit of researchy on the computer, and they find out that this has been happening for a very long time. Anyway, she is bound and determined to stop it in her tracks. Well, she's unsuccessful. Yeah.
Bruh, that was the most chaotic Kathryn synopsis I've ever heard.
I think I did so good on the synopsis. I don't think you have to do that much work on your synopsis.
I really don't.
Because usually it's just death. But we did a way better job of this synopsis now. This time. You're welcome, boss.
Okay. So, thank you, Kathryn, for that amazingly chaotic synopsis from your little goldfish brain.
Welcome.
For your little goldfish brain, though, you summed it up very well, even though you didn't remember the character names, but it's fine. Not important.
Yeah, definitely not. Wait, was the boyfriend's name Joel or is that his real name?
Joel.
His name was Joel in the movie? Okay, see, I do remember something.
Yeah, you remember the hot guy. In this movie, we meet Rose. Not Julie. Rose. I'm sorry.
Might as well call her Julie. Who cares?
But we have Rose, and protagonist of our film, and she is played by Sosie Bacon. I hope I said her name right. I apologize.
Bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Yum.
And for some reason,
is she related to Kevin Bacon?
Can you hold on?
I'll shut the fuck up. Sorry.
Okay. So we have Sosie Bacon.
Yes.
Which I noticed that her last name was Bacon, but I completely forgot that Kevin Bacon existed. So I did not put two and two together, but yes, it is Kevin Bacon's daughter.
Who's Kevin Bacon again?
Footloose.
Okay, I know who he is.
Main character.
Yes.
Friday the 13th.
Yes. That's what I thought it was, but I sometimes can't put the face to the name of the people. I just know that Kevin Bacon was a person. I just couldn't remember who he was.
But he is married to Kira Sedgwick.
Okay.
I think that's how you say it. I don't know. But her first acting gig was at 10 years old in the movie Loverboy, which was directed by her father.
Aww. Nepotism at its finest.
So we have Rose. She is a psychiatrist at this like free clinic, basically. She basically just likes helping people. She is a workaholic. So she is technically sent home, but she gets a phone call. And if she would have just not taken this phone call, she would be alive.
Mm-hmm.
But she gets this phone call. They just brought in this patient who is experiencing some type of psychosis. And she's like kicking and screaming, whatever. And this is Laura. She is claiming to be seeing things and hearing things. She says that it's like something that's wearing people's faces like masks, and it's like smiling at her, but it's like a smile that's not friendly, a menacing smile, as she says. It just gives you this gut feeling that something bad's going to happen, and it usually does.
Mm-hmm.
Laura starts like flipping out because she's like, I have a PhD, like I'm not crazy. You're not listening to me, like, unhinged. Trying to have a and then all of a sudden she just starts freaking out. She's on the ground screaming, and then all of a sudden it's quiet, and Rose calls, like, for backup, and she turns around, and she's smiling at her. And then she, like Kathryn says, unalives herself in front of Rose. Now, Rose is traumatized thoroughly, and for about an hour, we just see Rose constantly trying to figure out. She just starts slowly becoming more unhinged and becoming mad because she keeps seeing things, especially smiling, like just random people. This like apparition or someone smiling, and it starts causing things to happen around her. Like R.I.P. mustache. So she has this cat, and I felt bad because Kathryn was like, "Oh, kitty!" Like right as soon as she sees it, and she's like, "Oh, kid! Oh no!"
I knew something bad was gonna happen. Just the vibe of the whole movie,
right? And she's just like, "How dare you do this to me?" And I was like, "I'm sorry." And then I was like, "At least you don't see it die. Like you don't see it get killed, but yeah, you do. She does find it. Yeah, you do see it deaded, but it's awfully CGI'd, so it looks fake. So you're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Rose has some like troubling background with her mom. Her mom is dead in the movie, but she was a drug addict, and Rose basically got like the blunt end of all the drug stuff, and that's why she went into the field she wanted to go in to help people like her mom, supposedly. She also has a sister named Holly, who has a son named Jackson. And Holly's like the complete opposite of Rose. She's like, she tries to just put the past behind her, be that good old housewife mom, whatever. Puts her kid in fucking everything that she can. Has the perfect life, right? And then Rose, she's diving herself into work, trying to keep busy and she doesn't like being alone. She hates it. She has a fiance in the movie named Trevor, and he is not completely supportive of her in the film, and it's kind of frustrating. Like nobody's really supportive of her in this film.
Yeah.
At all, except Joel. So as she's slowly going into madness, she is like, okay, like she's putting her little detective cap on, and Joel, who's her ex-boyfriend, is this police guy detective. So she's like, I'm gonna manipulate this man and get what I want. So she remembers hearing that Laura, the patient that unalived herself in front of her, there was a report about her prior to this incident that she witnessed her teacher unalive himself, and she was the only witness. So they find 20 cases of similar things happening where someone unalives himself in front of somebody, and then that person that witnessed it does it a week later. So she's like, what the fuck is this? Even me and Kathryn as a viewer, it's not 100% said what it is. And the director did say in an article that the unknown is more scary. So he kind of left it
ambiguous.
He didn't give it a name or anything. But basically, this thing just constantly shows up as someone she might know, someone she might not know, and just makes her go insane for like a week straight. And you have such high hopes for her near the end. She's like, okay, I'm going to go to a secluded house where no one else is around me. I'm going to barricade myself in there because if I'm alone, it doesn't have any way to pass to somebody else. Which it's smart in theory, but this thing can make your mind think anything. So she gets to her mom's house. I skipped a lot. It's okay. Watch the movie. She gets to her mom's house. This is like the final climax of the movie. She starts seeing delusions of her mother, and she like faces her trauma with her mom, and it seems like it's fine, and then all of a sudden the mom like turns into this tall thing, and it's kind of creepy looking, and then Rose like fights back, lights it on fire, and she thinks it's over and she leaves. And
final girl bosses herself right out of there.
Yeah, final girl. And she drives her happy ass to Joel's apartment, and it's just like she confesses to him. He's always been the one for her, and she's always been so guarded around everybody, but he's the only one that's made her guard come down, and it scared her, so she pushed him away. Typical. She's like, is it okay if I just sleep here, and can you stay with me? And he's like, of course. And then it turns dark, and he's like, I'll be with you forever. And then he starts smiling at her, and we're like, no, it's still a delusion.
And she's back at her mom's house.
All of a sudden she like runs out of Joel's door and ends up running outside of her mom's house, basically. So now we're back at the mom's house, and the real Joel pulls up because he tracked her phone.
Creepy.
And yeah.
Creepy or romantic?
You decide. And she's like, no. So then she like runs back inside and barricades herself in. And the big, tall nightmare mom is what they called it, is in the house still, and is just like like laughing, you know. And at this point, like her brain, I guess the way that it was described was like her brain and trauma, it just wore her down to where she just couldn't fight anymore. And the being ends up shedding its skin, like opening its mouth weird, and it's and it becomes the monstrosity, because that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And it basically goes inside her body and makes her not Rose anymore. And Joel breaks in finally and watches Rose unalive herself with fire in front of his eyes. And that is how it ends. Very sad.
Very sad.
I would highly suggest, if you're not in the right mental state, don't watch this movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't. No, just save yourself. Go watch something else. A little lighter, like, I don't know, Terrifier or something. I'm just kidding.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Terrifier is lighter mentally on you. I mean, it's a little gory. A little.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So it's gory, but it's definitely not as much of a mental toll on you. That's for sure.
Like, that was honestly, when I was reading the reviews, that was literally the only, or one of the main 1-star reviews was there wasn't a trigger warning. There's a lot of, talk about unaliving, and there's a lot of scenes of unaliving, and it's, yeah, I guess in my brain, it didn't come off that way because it's not them doing it. So I'm just thinking like it's the antagonist of the movie, like controlling them to do it. But yeah, it can be very triggering for a lot of people. There's a lot of talk about mental health.
And simply the fact that the main character basically watched her mom actually basically kill herself with drugs when she was 10. And then like it's full circle and this weird whole monstrosity finds her. It's really also a tale of trauma and how trauma can not only affect you, but the people around you. And you can pass trauma on with just simply being a part of people's lives. So when you don't deal with your trauma, like that kind of stuff can move into other people's lives. You can cause trauma to other people. And that's what this horror is about, is like, not only there's this monstrosity of the monster, but there's also this like overlining issue of like how trauma affects other people, because obviously you're traumatizing whoever watches you kill themselves, right? And so I don't know, that's what I kind of got from it when I was watching it.
Yeah, that's about what the director had said. That's why I also think like this movie it has layers, and it's also a good film in that way as well, because it's not sugarcoating mental health at all. Like that's how it is for a lot of people. And like not everybody gets the happy sunshine and rainbows ending. And I mean, I do like movies that end that way sometimes, because then it's not predictable. Like the ending with Joel, like what we first think is the ending, I was like, oh, that seems too easy. So I was like, like I wasn't satisfied with it at first, and then I realized it wasn't over yet, and then I was like, oh shit. Because in the beginning, like, of the movie, it's the entity monstrosity thing, it shows up as just someone just standing still smiling at her. Like, it's not moving yet.
Yeah.
But then it slowly does become, it like turns into her sister, or it turns into her dead mother, or and then the last one where it turns into Joel, like, he wasn't smiling yet, and it was very convincing, and I was like, bro, that's crazy. Oh, it turns into her therapist, like,
yeah, and chases her literally around her house.
Scary.
Yeah. And the other thing is that we only saw this with, like, the main character and Joel, Rose and Joel. Like, ultimately their downfall was the, like, her guilt for her mom. That was her downfall of the trauma that this monster held on to. And Joel's downfall was the fact that he wouldn't let go of his ex-girlfriend. And that's what the monster kind of latched onto there too. Like, we don't know what happens to Joel. I mean, we kind of know what's going to happen within a week of Joel experiencing what he just experienced. Unfortunately, it looks like the cycle will just continue and never stop.
Yes. And the only way that they know of in the movie to stop it is if the person that is cursed, per se, kills someone violently in front of someone else. And then that person who witnessed it will get it. And they do talk to the man that did it, but obviously the downside is you will be in prison for the rest of your life.
Right.
But yeah, so
it's definitely a heavy movie, so just don't watch it if you're not in the headspace for it.
I would definitely, like, watch with friends too.
Oh yeah.
Like, watching this by yourself, I feel like is really heavy.
I feel like it was also that was also easier for me, was that I was watching it with you, who had already seen it 2 times or 3 times, right? And I was able to kind of just go to where my brain goes naturally and make jokes during the movie because I was with my friend. But if I had watched it by myself, it might not have been the same scenario, you know? I was definitely able to be in that headspace of, like, I talk through movies, and that's one of my red flags. But I love to make jokes when I'm seeing something that's maybe a little too heavy for me. So
yeah, I know
that's our go-to.
So this movie, actually, it really does freak me out. So I watched it twice in theaters, and then I watched it recently with my boyfriend again. And my brain, like, all the, like, smaller jump scares that actually scared me, I completely forgot about. So, like, as I was watching with him for that 3rd time, I kept jumping, and I was getting, like, re-scared, and I was like, fuck, why did I want to watch this again? And he's all like, I don't know. And he's like, why did you want to watch this again? And we watched it again for the podcast. But watching it with you, you would, like, make jokes and stuff. So, like, you would pull me out of the movie, and I'd be like, that's funny. The part with the sister when they're, like, fighting or whatever, and the big infamous scene, it's in the trailer. If you just watch the trailer, you'll see it. But right after she has Rose has an argument with her sister, she gets in her car, and then Holly, quotations, comes walking out of the house, and you can, from the view, the camera is, like, on the passenger side of the car, so you can see, like, the side view of Rose, and then you can see, like, Holly walking up to the car. Holly was out of focus for sure. As the sister's walking up, Kathryn's like, they always got something else to fucking say. Like, in the art, and she's, like, walking up. But yeah.
I was
Turns
like,
out
they always got to have the last word. They always have something fucking else to say. I go, unless it's not Holly, and then they like, you know.
Yeah. And then the infamous scene, it's quotations, Holly knocks on the window, and then right as Rose looks, the head just turns upside down, like it's like falls and like turns upside down, and it's smiling, and I was like, oh hell no. Yeah, now that we like did a little synopsis of the movie, which we
Yeah,
didn't
the
go over
longest synopsis.
everything.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know, the longest synopsis. All right, let's get into the more like, I guess, fun, interesting
Fun
things.
facts with Hayley. Yeah.
Like I said earlier, we had Sosie Bacon, who played Rose, the child of Kevin Bacon and Kara Sedgwick. And then we have Kyle Gallner, who plays Joel.
My boy.
And I said 2000s horror boy, because that's what he is to me, per se. Because he's in all of these like early 2000 movies that I grew up on and that I like hold near and dear to my heart on some of them.
Mhm.
But he was in, rough start off, but he was in the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oops.
He was, I know, oops. He was in Jennifer's Body. He was recently in Scream 5 and Haunting in Connecticut. Those are like the main ones that I saw.
How tall is he? You said you wrote it down.
Yeah.
I can make
how
an
tall do you
exception,
think
maybe
he is?
5'8".
Ooh, you're close. He's 5'9". And then we have Caitlin Stacy, who plays Laura.
Okay.
She
Short but iconic part.
She's an Australian actress. So she mainly was in like Australian things. But she was in a movie that I have seen. It is not very well known.
Mm.
So I might do this
Of course it's
for
not.
the podcast, because I know. I don't even know how I like came across it. I think I just bought the movie. I actually like that movie. But it's like a zombie movie.
Mhm.
And she plays the main girl, Maddie, in that movie.
Oh, okay.
But she also plays Laura, her character, in the short. So I thought that was cool. I was like, well, they brought her back. And then we have Jesse T. Usher Jr., who plays Trevor.
Okay.
Rose's fiance.
Mhm.
I just wrote this down because I thought it was crazy, but this man graduated high school at 15.
Good job, smart. Jesse.
His first acting gig was an Oscar Mayer Wiener commercial.
Aww.
But anyway, he hasn't been in much. I think more recently he's in the show The Boys, the spoof show about like superheroes. He's in that show, and he was in a lot of Disney Channel shows.
Oh.
He played like a main character in Level Up, I think is what it's called. I never heard of that one, but apparently he was in he was in an episode of Hannah Montana, but I was trying to find who he played, but all it said was guy. So I was like, was that his name, or was that he was just some guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we have Rose's boss in the movie, Dr. Dessay, maybe. But he is played by Cal Penn, which, if y'all don't know, that is Mr. Kumar, baby, of Harold and Kumar's many stoner adventures. So
he also he was also the main character, one of the main characters in The Big Sad.
Yeah, The Big Sad. And he was also a part of the White House team or something for Obama. Oh, that was interesting. You could see like where he turned around, because I haven't seen him do many comedies anymore. Like,
right.
He basically did the Harold and Kumar movies, which are like, stoner buddy movies, comedy. And then he started doing like more serious stuff.
Right.
And then we have Nightmare Mom, as I said earlier. Nightmare Mom was shockingly played by a guy, but his name is Kevin Kepi.
Okay.
And he is 6'5".
Okay. When he came up, I literally said, Matthew, is that you? Because he looks
Yeah.
strangely just like Mother from Barbarian, except for a little more well kept.
Yeah. So I basically, when I looked him up, I was like, oh, so basically Doug Jones, Matthew, like
And
all
him. Those are the
Yeah.
tall, lanky boys that
Mhm.
have jobs in Hollywood.
One of the things that I've seen personally, he was in the show Cabinet of Curiosities,
Oh.
that Netflix show
Mhm.
by Guillermo del Toro.
Mhm.
But the one he was in like a couple episodes of that. The only episode that I remember based off of what they described he was in the episode Graveyard Rats. And that episode freaked me out. And then we have the monstrosity. So when the monstrosity is when like it reveals all of its mouths and eyes and faces or whatever. That is played by Marty Matulis.
Oh, it's played by someone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
But he also is like, he mainly does like prosthetics creatures. He played Piggy Man in American Horror Story.
Oh.
And he played, I didn't get a name, but it's some like monster looking character in The Mandalorian. That's about all I like deep dive down the cast about. But so the last thing I got is some like fun facts before we get to the ratings. Unfortunately, this movie, it did get criticized a little bit, but it said that it gave off very similar vibes to The Ring and It Follows, which I even said that before. Like when just watching it, I was like, no, this really feels like It Follows.
Yeah, it did feel like It Follows. Just without all the sex.
The movie, it wasn't originally going to be called Smile. It was going to be called Something's Wrong with Rose. But the Something's Wrong with Rose, like it sounds kind of like a short. So I'm glad they changed it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was interesting. I kind of want to rewatch it just to see. But apparently, an hour and 21 minutes into the film, you can see like on Rose's phone, the text icon or like the contact photo of her fiance Trevor. I guess the photo, it shows him smiling, but like earlier in the film, he's not. Like the picture's not.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, interesting. So I'm just like, there's so many like small little things in there. Like,
yeah. I always wonder if there are like Easter eggs like that in films like that. That's why I try to watch like so intently.
Yeah, which I do sometimes, but not really on the first go. But like example, Rose, after the incident with her patient, she's getting coffee and her mug is like just this plain white mug and it's got like a smiley face on it. And Kathryn was just like, I don't like that. Her mug has a smile on it, it has a smiley face on it. And I was like, what? And I never noticed it. So just like little stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then this little fun fact that Kathryn kind of already called because I said, aw. So Mustache, the kitty cat, his name is Star. He was the star of the movie for sure.
Yes.
And
I mean, we didn't name ourselves anything else other than Mustache. He's obviously made a big impression on us.
The only character you remember. The scene where Rose comes home and we see Mustache for the first time. That was the first scene they filmed for the movie.
Aww.
I was like, ah, that's so cute. Funny little side story though. When I went to go see this movie with my coworkers, and one of my coworkers, when the cat came on the screen, she was like, if the cat smiles, I'm out.
That's worse.
So I was like, can you just imagine like the cat's just like
grinning at you?
And then even though I didn't entirely think that they were or weren't, the smiles all throughout the movie, they're all real. They're not altered in any way, shape, or form. And then I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't think it needs one, but there is a sequel in development because, of course, there is.
Okay, so I was thinking while I was doing the dishes today, I was thinking, what if they did a sequel to this movie, but it follows Jackson instead of
Aw.
Joel? It follows something happened because here's the thing. So the reason why Jackson, her nephew, is traumatized is that when she gives him the birthday present, which she remembers it being a train, which is a model train, and he opens the package and it's Mustache.
Yeah, it's the dead
Okay,
cat.
so that really threw off the whole party. The whole party kind of went downhill after that. Anyway, so the argument between her and her sister included the fact that Jackson is thoroughly traumatized now by this whole party incident that happened with Mustache. And when she went to her car, you saw Jackson up in the window looking down at her getting into her car. And it was like this weird. The reason why I thought it would follow Jackson was because it felt like an unfinished storyline, or like, like
An open.
yes, like an open. It just like it never got tied up, the whole Jackson thing, and it would be very easy for them to go on with just Joel and move along, but we know it would happen. We know it's going to happen. But the sequel following Jackson after all of that, somehow the monstrosity finds its way back to Jackson, something like that. I don't know.
Mhm.
I just felt like it felt like something that was not completed in the movie could potentially be more interesting. That's what I was expecting.
That's cool. I guess we should get in touch with Parker.
I don't think he's taking any requests, so I'm not going to bother. Anyway, that's my 2 cents about a sequel.
I agree. I think that would probably make it a little more interesting because Joel's is a broken record. Like we've seen
Yeah.
it.
I mean, Joel's is gonna
But,
happen just like Rose's is probably.
And then that's all the little fun facts I got. But let's jump into ratings and wrap this
Ooh.
baby up.
Yeah.
So, Kathryn, overall, what would you rate it out of 10? And did you like it?
Out of 10, I would rate this movie an 8.2.
Mm,
And I did like this movie.
good. I'm glad. Did it live up to the hype that I was like hyping it up?
Yes. Yeah. I felt like, okay, so here's the thing. I felt like it was overhyped before you talked to me about it because of the fact that like it was like such a big marketing thing, and I was like, this is gonna be so dumb, but the marketing really creeped me out already. And then you told me about it, and I was like, okay, maybe this would be a good one to watch. And then I just never watched it myself because I told Hayley I'd watch it with her, but it just never happened until the episodes. It was like giving me Scary Clowns when it came out,
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Gonna say that.
The clown marketing, because I mean, I even saw TikToks of like just random people in crowds smiling like that. You know what I mean? So I mean, I saw so many things that were promotions of this movie in just like the most random places.
I would definitely rate it probably the same. It's definitely up there. I would probably say like an 8.5, or just an 8.
I was thinking 8, but I wanted to be on top of the Tomato Boys, even though I don't know what they did.
Do you want to be with the Tomato Boys? Like, you want to be like within the same area?
Yeah, I mean,
Or what's your game?
Usually our rating is we want to be around the same that the Tomato Boys rated it. And with the IMDb rating that I saw on Amazon, I think that it might be something closer to a 60 something percent. But I don't know.
Well, I will tell you the ratings that I have. So from IMDb, we got 6.5.
Okay. That was more than was said on Amazon. That's good.
I know.
This movie got mixed reviews, didn't it?
And then the Tomato Boys, Kathryn. 79%, baby.
Yo, we are so close. See,
I
here's the
know.
thing. I was gonna say just 8, but I was like, I know it's gonna be like 8. It's never 80%, it's never 70%. So it was like, I'll just give it a little bit more.
You made him proud, Kathryn. You made him proud.
You know what? One day I really want the Tomato Boys to be on the podcast. I know that they're really a figment of my imagination. I know that there are no Tomato Boys. One day the Tomato Boys, they should be on the podcast. That'd be fun.
Bro, we should make merch.
Okay, well, thank you, Hayley, for bringing us Smile.
You're welcome.
That was probably one of the more popular movies that we've done. I'm not saying popular, mainstream movies that we've done.
Mainstream, yes.
Current and mainstream.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could make you smile. Spooky Babes, thanks for joining us on this weird, funny, smiling journey. Hopefully this one's not too bad for you guys. And if you liked it, cool. If you didn't, I'm sorry. But I hope you guys have a good day, a good week, a good month, a good year, a good lifetime. We'll start with a day. I know that's a lot, but we'll start with a day. Have a good day. And yeah, back to you, Kathryn, the inspirational one.
Oh, before I start my inspiration, I have some requests. If you liked our podcast today, I would really enjoy to hear your feedback, and you could give us a rating of 5 stars on anywhere you listen to podcasts. That would be super cool, and we would very much appreciate that. And back to inspirational, because shameless self-promotion is not my jam. We appreciate you. We hope that this movie/topic was not too heavy for you, and have a fun little sweet treat on us. We said you could. So if anyone told you you couldn't, tell them that Hayley and Kathryn said that I could. And we appreciate you. You guys are awesome, and you matter. You matter to us. And if you ever feel like you are lost or you don't know where you belong here with us, and you are a spooky babe for eternity. You're stuck with us. And so
Forever.
Anyway, we really appreciate you, and you guys are awesome, and the world is a better place with you in it, and we will see you
in your nightmares.
Just picture us smiling at you. That's all we would be doing right now.